us now is Dr. Charlotte Damon-Willems, who is the lead paediatrician at University Hospital Lewisham, and also Nick and Tony Callaghan, whose two sons also have cystic fibrosis. Welcome, all of you. Thank you for coming in this morning. Charlotte, you must be seeing so many parents with cystic fibrosis, and I suppose that the initial feeling is one of terror and what's going to happen to my child. And how can you reassure them?
Yeah, clearly whenever you get a potentially serious diagnosis for your child, it's just an overwhelming moment. You can't imagine how life has changed. It's an inherited condition. It's probably one of the commonest inherited conditions in the sort of indigenous UK population. 1 in 20 of us carry a gene for cystic fibrosis. It's what we call a recessive gene, so you need two pairs, one from your mother and one from your father, coming together to give you the illness. So carriers, we wouldn't even know if we were a carrier until we had a child with cystic fibrosis.
But the chances of having a child, if both of you are carriers, is only 1 in 4.
Only 1 in 4.
It was a huge shock. Generally, babies with cystic fibrosis would be diagnosed more around the birth stage, like those early weeks of life. You're in such shock once you hear them say that the result is positive, but yeah, I can still remember the day of diagnosis as well.
Fearing a condition or a diagnosis and getting the formal diagnosis, that was actually worse for us as parents than the diagnosis, which of course comes as a bombshell. Initially, the first step, if you like, was a self-diagnosis. So Harry was potty training. Children with CF that are undiagnosed have very frequent bulky stools, so I was trying to potty train Harry one Saturday while Tony was out. He refused to comply with any of that. So we rushed him to the hospital, fearing whatever this was, and the nurse informed us that it was a fairly minor complaint called a rectal prolapse, but it had actually resolved itself by the time we got to the hospital. The next day I used the Yahoo search engine to search rectal prolapse, and when I drilled into the results, found that there was a link to cystic fibrosis. And when I looked at those links, I saw that the two major symptoms of CF, which is recurrent chest infections and cough, as well as low weight gain, Harry never suffered from, but then there were two that he did, which really struck me.
We had no history on either family side of having cystic fibrosis as a condition within the family. It was just massive shock and just a massive blow to deal with and get our heads around, really.
One of the major corrector drugs became available, those specifically for Harry and Jack's mutation of G551D. This is a drug that is so effective that if they take the diagnostic sweat test for CF while taking this drug called Kalydeco or ivacaftor, they would actually test as negative. The future looks great for people with CF because of the development of the corrector and modulator drugs.
2013, getting the modulator drugs, that made a huge difference and give a brighter outlook on what their future may hold.